The new Sony Alt Field 7 party speaker is here, and this thing looks sick. But does it sound as great as it looks? Let's find out. What's up, internet? I'm Brian McDuff, aka BMAC, and welcome to another video. So yes, indeed, Sony has launched a new audio line with their Alt Power Sound line. First things first, I do need to give a huge thank you and a shout out to Sony for actually sending out one of their Field 7 speakers for me to be able to check out and enjoy. So Sony, thank you. I appreciate you. So with that having been said, let's just dive right into it here, discussing what this party speaker is all about, starting things out with the Field 7 design, and what the speaker is looking like on the outside and what's going on the inside. The Field 7 is a medium-sized Bluetooth speaker that can be used as a party speaker, with it being built to deliver loudness, big bass, and a party vibe with some built-in RGB lighting effects that we'll talk about in just a few minutes. It's got a cylindrical kind of design here. It's just about 20 inches long and 8 inches high and 8 inches deep, and it weighs just about 13 pounds. You also have these rubberized end caps here, which have these built-in handles to allow this to be easily moved around. And the speaker could actually be listened to either vertically or horizontally, which we'll touch on in just a few minutes. But if you do happen to listen horizontally, there are some rubberized feet here as well to keep the speaker from sliding around when you're listening to music, and so that it stays put. On either side of the speaker, you're gonna notice these passive radiators here, which are gonna add to the overall lower frequency response, which is gonna add to the bass, but we'll talk more about that in just a few minutes. You also have dedicated control buttons on top for power, pairing, track control, volume control, and of course the Alt Mode button. The Alt Mode button, by the way, actually being RGB backlit, matching the RGB lighting in the passive radiators that we'll see a little bit later on, so that you could quickly just glance at the Alt Mode button and know if you have Alt Mode turned on. One thing I will say about the volume buttons here on the Field 7 is that even though they're clicky, tactile, and responsive, the volume buttons seem to be incremented almost microscopically. And what I mean by this is that if I wanted to quickly change the volume of whatever music I was listening to, I have to press the volume down or the volume up button like 10 to 20 times before the volume actually starts to get noticeably louder or quieter. This is probably something that could be fixed in a future firmware update, but for right now, it's just kind of annoying and tedious. But wrapping all this up in this device is going to be this mesh fabric finish that goes around the entire speaker itself, despite the fact that music is going to be projected in only one direction, which is going to be in the direction of that Sony logo. But on the back of the speaker here, if you look, you actually have a sealed off compartment, which when you open it up, you're going to notice a variety of inputs and outputs and controls. You get your AC adapter plug-in, you have a button for turning on or off the RGB light show, a button for checking the current battery percentage, a USB-A port for connecting audio sources through USB, as well as for charging external devices, an aux port for hardwired listening, and a 1/4-inch input jack for connecting either a guitar or a microphone. The volume control knob will become active, allowing you to change the gain control. There's also a dedicated guitar button that lets the speaker know you've connected the guitar, and an echo button, which allows you to actually apply one of 3 different echo reverb effects to whatever's connected through that 1/4-inch jack. Another pretty cool feature is actually a key control system with flattening or sharpening buttons that allows you to actually change the key of the music that you're listening to through Bluetooth in real time, up to 6 semitones in either direction while maintaining the original tempo of the song. Also with this overall design comes an IP67 dust and waterproof rating, which means that dust won't be an issue, and you can get this thing wet without any kind of problem. But no matter where you use the speaker, you do also get sound field optimization built in, which allows the speaker to literally listen to itself and make adjustments to its EQ settings on the fly, theoretically allowing the speaker to sound the best that it can, no matter what kind of environment you're listening in. Now, a quick note on the light show capabilities built in here. You do have the ability of choosing between several different light show effects from within the Sony Companion app, and the Field 7 is also compatible with the Sony Fiestable app, which gives you some DJ controls, some lighting controls. I'll be honest, it's not the greatest app, but it is pretty cool and it's worth checking out, and this is compatible with it, so I would recommend you do so. So overall, I gotta be honest, I like the Field 7 design. It's super easy to move. I love the built-in handles. It may only be available in one color, that obviously being black, but that's fine with me because that's what I would pick anyway. But let's get into the nitty-gritty of what the Field 7 sound quality is like. Can you actually expect the Field 7 to live up to that party speaker expectation? The Field 7 uses Sony's X-Balance speaker unit design that is supposed to provide more fullness, more richness, and overall fill the room more wherever you're listening to it. And you do also get support for AAC, SBC, and LDAC audio codecs with stereo audio support and multi-point Bluetooth connections, So a lot of good things going on there as it relates to connectivity. But I know what you're probably thinking, what's the deal with this Alt thing? What does that Alt button even do? Well, there's actually two different Alt modes. There's Alt 1 and Alt 2, and both of them are a little bit different. Alt 1 is a more bass-focused audio experience, while Alt 2 is a more power-focused audio experience. You do actually also have the ability of customizing your own EQ preset with a 7-band adjustment from within the Sony Companion app. Overall, I do find myself using Alt 2 more because once you go from Alt 2 to Alt 1, Alt 1 actually sounds a little bit duller in comparison to Alt 2. I will quickly point out that both modes do put out a pretty good amount of sub bass, by the way. It's not a mind-blowing amount of sub bass, but it's there. But with both Alt modes, I do think you have a really nice sound balance with a pretty good separation of instruments that you'll likely be happy with. And yes, obviously it's a party speaker, so this thing gets loud. But do bear in mind that if you're listening at louder volumes, you will start to notice a little bit of compression taking place. You'll get a little bit of muddiness going on at those higher volumes. And a quick note on that 1/4-inch input jack for either your karaoke or your guitar sessions. I've personally tried both on this speaker. I have sang karaoke and I've also played my guitar through it. And especially when using the guitar, I'm happy with the way it sounds. It's like having a pretty good portable amp to bring with you, even if it is just kind of plug and play and you don't have a whole heck of a lot of control over it. But I will say, if you plan on using this speaker for musical performances that include guitar and singing, just know that you're not gonna be able to do that because you are limited to just one or the other, with there being only one 1/4-inch input jack on the speaker. Something to definitely consider if you plan on using this speaker for your live musical performances, because if that's the case, there are other party speakers on the market within the same price range that will give you additional 1/4-inch inputs, as well as some more control over reverb and EQ. Aside from that, you do also have the ability of connecting two Alt Field 7s together for a stereo pair if you'd like to, which is pretty cool. And the Field 7 is also compatible with Sony's Party Connect feature, which allows you to actually pair up to 100 Party Connect compatible Sony speakers together, in case you already own a couple of Sony Bluetooth speakers and wanted to use them all together for one true massive listening experience. But I know with all this talk about bass and power and lights and karaoke, all this, how long could you actually expect this speaker to last for? What's the battery life looking like on the Sony Alt Field 7? Sony is promising up to 30 hours of audio playback with the lights turned on and in either of the two Alt modes, but that is going to be only when listening at volume 16, which equates to about 32% of the max volume, and it's probably going to be considerably less than the volume level you're usually listening. So on the other end of that, if you're listening at volume level 50 out of 50, which is 100% max volume, with Alt mode turned on and with the lights turned on, you probably could only expect to get around 3 hours of battery life out of this thing. If you're listening at 50% volume, which is usually where I'm listening, and if you have the lights turned on, and if you're in either Alt 1 or Alt 2, you could probably expect to get around 12 hours of battery life. It really depends, results will vary, but that's what I've experienced, that's what I've figured out. Hopefully those numbers are helpful to you. When it comes time to recharge your Field 7, you do get a quick charging feature. Just a quick 10-minute charge should yield around 3 hours of listening time, whereas going from 0% battery to 100% battery should take a total of around 5 hours. So recharging times, not all that bad. But with all that having been said, here are my final thoughts on the Sony Alt Field 7 portable party speaker and whether or not it could actually be the life of the party. Simply put, I'm pretty happy with what Sony has done and what they're doing with their new Alt Power Sound line. Sony's just telling you how it is with these products. You know exactly what you're getting. You know that there's gonna be Alt modes where the focus is neither bass or power, so you know what to expect. I like the sound quality that this provides. I think it's a solid speaker offering. Is it the best party speaker at its price point? I'd hesitate to say yes. I do think there are some more enticing options that are gonna sound a little bit better with some more higher end features, but at the end of the day, all things considered, I'm happy with the Field 7, and it is still a Bluetooth party speaker that I plan on throwing into the Jeep this summer and taking with me just because it's fun and easy to lug around. It sounds good. It looks nice, it sounds nice, those Alt modes are awesome, the speaker bumps, it gets loud, it really does make for a pretty powerful and loud party speaker, and I think you're gonna enjoy it, especially if you already like Sony products. And as always, for the latest deals, prices, promos, and information for the Sony Alt Field 7 party speaker, you can of course always head to my affiliate link, bmac.link/field7, or as always, there's gonna be clickable links in the video description box below and in the comment section below, so be sure to check those out. And in the meantime, I think a party is in order, maybe a 7-hour party in the field for the Field 7. Whoop, whoop, whoop. All right, I gotta shoot out some text. Let's get this party popping. I will see you guys in my next video.